Hi, this is Matt with Intergalactic Herald. Welcome to my Star Atlas Weekend Review podcast. This is podcast number 79. Any articles or videos mentioned can be found on my website at intergalacticherald.com. Just look for News Recap 128. So just a quick summary of things I'll be going over. A lot of talk about crew cards, both from the Metaverse Nomads and from Beyond Horizon. More crew cards, and then a little bit about the Star Atlas DAO Council nominations, whatever you want to call it. But before I get to that, just a couple of quick things. One, I did some other my Star Atlas projects that I'm doing. One is my Star Atlas merch store. That's called Intergalactic Gear. You can find that at intergalacticgear.com. It is officially open for business, predominantly only at this point selling a few different mugs, but hopefully no promises. But this weekend, I think I finally have some time with the 3-day holiday here in the United States to maybe get some more things done. But if you're not interested in Star Atlas mugs, I do have a merch survey. Received a couple recent surveys, survey submissions. So I greatly appreciate that, giving me some great ideas on some other merch to start looking to develop in my store. So again, please go to intergalacticgear.com. And then I'm also looking at trying to start a community of Star Atlas gamers. Maybe it's a non-guild guild of people who don't want to join a guild, or it's just a place to hang out for people that don't want to hang out in the Star Atlas Discord. It's based on a different platform that allows for threaded discussions and email subscriptions to different threads, so you can come and go into the community without kind of losing track of things. So if you're interested in something like that, please go to intergalacticcoalition.com and fill out their interest survey there. So I'll go ahead and get into the content for this past week. A lot of it is kind of front-loaded to last week, because that was when I think a lot of the other content creators were able to talk about the crew pack release, which was from the week before. So I want to point out, again, another excellent Metaverse Nomads show where they continued from the previous week talking about crew packs. So again, great listen if you want to kind of get a lot more thoughts and things like that. So I just wrote down a few things that kind of caught my attention. One was mentioned that the crew packs, and again, if you've been following along, you kind of know there was a first initial release of the different art and trait. See, this is where I'm a little confused. Definitely the art changed. I don't think the traits changed, but you weren't supposed to get them, and so anybody who opens up new crew packs will get the correct algorithm. Some of the things, I guess, were a little too common that shouldn't have been common and things like that. So, but anyways, the Metaverse Nomads mentioned that the team had kind of mentioned that the art, the pictures, were always going to be concept art. And because that ultimate goal is that your crew that you see in the crew pack, or crew card, I guess, if you're talking a single one, should be what you see when you're in the Unreal Engine 5 game. So this was never what was going to show up later, and I guess that's fine. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but definitely that was not communicated for people prior to opening it. So again, this has been maybe a common thread that there's an idea, and without more information, the community kind of gets one idea in their mind about what it means, and then we get a clarification. So, okay, good to know that it's concept art. So, or it's, and maybe the better way, I mean, if I want to put a positive spin on it, maybe it's like, well, there's going to be a natural progression of your crew card, crew person, individual, I guess. I don't know. You can call a robot a person, whatever. But that was always kind of going to be continually developed. So we were given kind of the first pass at it. So the other thing that they mentioned was that the idea that they had a re-roll, and again, I'm just not familiar with some of these terms, but when you open it, you get something that had to be redone because apparently the first time it was just flat out buggy. It didn't do what they thought the team thought it was going to do. So, if you get something that's more rare, it should truly be rare. And again, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll just, again, say there were bugs and they fixed it. So, but what hadn't changed after another week, and this is more my thought than what Metaverse Nomads said, was, again, right now that the crew is basically cosmetic. It's just a pretty picture, which, again, there's nothing wrong with that. But sounds like, again, everything except maybe crafting and Sage is for the future, which, again, is fine. But, again, peak of interest drops right back down. So we'll see how it goes. think also last weekend, Beyond the Horizon put out at least one video for sure, which was his thought on crew cards and the changes. And I think it was actually an excellent video because you kind of felt like you were following Ron as he was experiencing the first ones, and then this re-roll, new concept art, and Sun, how that works. But he personalized it, which I think was very great, because he did mention he spent a ton of time reviewing all his opened crew packs, trying to think of what he liked and what he didn't like. And then, of course, all the time was wasted because it all changed again. So he was mentioning how he was having a kind of roller coaster of emotions. And it really came through in the video, and I appreciate him sharing that, because I think that really works on that. But he then, he did have two videos. The second video was more of when he was talking about the crew being available on Tensor. So he kind of did a tutorial of that. I kind of probably need to go back and review that. I would like to take a look at it, but again, I guess it's a timing issue. And now that I'm saying this out loud a week later, I don't really feel much motivation to do it. But anyways, it was really great to look at it. His tutorial on how to use Tensor, how to use its attributes to do some filtering and searching and things like that. So it was kind of fun looking at the other crew. And I guess it's interesting to think that, you could go on there and actually purchase one you wanted that fit either the look you liked or the attributes or the traits or whatever. So in the bigger picture, having a place to do that is kind of cool. I know, though, they're talking about that'll be eventually inside the marketplace on Star Atlas. So maybe, again, hate to say it, but this kind of feels like just a placeholder until the new thing. But again, who knows? Maybe this is the third-party options. Again, all of that. But again, a great little, two videos, but definitely the first one where he was kind of going over his things. He did leave the first video on that he is very positive on still in the future, even with the changes. So, it's just great to hear other people and kind of how they feel about Star Atlas and different things like that. So anyway, so that's the kind of two things there. The last one about crew, the team did put on the Discord announcement that the crew importing the Sage now has been delayed, and not just pushed down a week, but delayed, into an indeterminate time. So they basically said, we'll let you know when we're ready a week in advance. So again, great, good communication. Not sure what the effect is. Can people still do Sage? Again, I've kind of decided to just tune out and not play Sage anymore, so I don't really care about crew. So I assume this isn't as drastic as that you can't play Sage now, you just can't do something related to crew. But again, not really following it. So that's pretty much everything in the past week to happen on crew. Then on the Atlas Brew, they did have an opportunity for the nominees, people who nominated themselves to join the Star Atlas DAO Council, give some presentations. And I guess due to the number of nominees, they would have to have 2 rounds of voting using something called Choice Ranked. And at the Atlas Brew, they mentioned a link to how you can read more about that, but it wasn't like from the team, it was just about the style. So like a different article, which is fine. So if you're interested and you, of course, I assume own Polis and you've staked it and you're able to vote on PIPs, Polis, totally forgot what a PIP stands for. Anyways, the proposals in the DAO. It's a good listen to hear everybody talk. It was fair in the sense that everybody was given 5 minutes to, I think they had 2 questions. I'm trying to remember what they were now. I listened to it last night, so I was still trying to figure out when the next time we're going to vote, because I could forget and things could change. And anyways, if you're interested in hearing from the nominees, their presentations, their 5 minutes, do check out the latest brew. I have a link in my news recap number 128 on my website, intergalacticherald.com. Star Atlas TV recorded it, so it's a great place to go listen. The only other thing that I guess I was thinking, not necessarily related to the presentations, but about the whole council process, is I'm still not sure if, again, voting matters about your Polis voting power, how much you've locked, because I'm not 100% sure, but it sure felt like some of the nominees would be classified as whales, and so if they have a lot of Polis, can't they vote themselves in? So I don't know. Again, maybe I'm comparing this to traditional voting that I'm familiar with, i.e. United States elections, and one vote, one person, and secrecy, because again, I'm assuming if this is on a blockchain, you could figure out who voted for whom. So again, I don't know the answers. I'm hoping maybe we won't get the answers, but maybe I should go look at the answers, but maybe I don't care to get the answers. So, sorry. It's great. I think it's a great development for Star Atlas, but some of it's starting to feel kind of like I'm not really sure. But we'll, again, take everything as when we're presented information. So anyway, so that's kind of wraps up the content and announcements and things that occurred from Star Atlas or other content creators. So just want to go over kind of my two sections. One is just sort of my thoughts on the state of Star Atlas, and then kind of how my journey of playing Star Atlas is. So on the crew, again, another week later, I still have to wonder, why was the release now when literally there's nothing to do with them that we couldn't already have done before, like Crafting and Sage. And again, there's something broke on the importing. Tensor is interesting, but again, it feels like, I don't know, like a marketplace that's self-fulfilling. I mean, if people are trading these and they go up, but I guess you could say that's the same for Star Atlas Marketplace, but I may be actually needing something like a resource or a ship. I don't know what I need a crew for yet. So again, I guess I'm just not really sure, but my feeling at this point, unless something changes in the next week or two, it'll just be kind of in the past, like a lot of other things that have came up this year. At least the DAO seems to be moving forward, but DAX have kind of fallen by the wayside. Again, Starbase is what it is. But anyways, in general about Tensor, again, it did look interesting, but at this point, I guess I'm not compelled. And I guess bluntly, it's because I already have crew. And I don't know, there's sort of that sense of, well, they're mine. I not earned them, but they came from my ships that I purchased. And so, I don't know, it kind of feels like, well, these are the crew I got. So going out and buying another one when, again, it's concept art and I don't know how the traits are going to relate to something in the future. So again, it may be just these are stepping stones to something bigger, and totally understand the idea that there's a lot of different aspects to the Star Atlas metaverse ecosystem game. So nothing there, just again, not a style or a gameplay thing I'm totally interested in. So, and then finally, besides the nominee presentations, which was great, definitely seemed like a quiet week. I think, again, most of the content came out last weekend about crew, but that was kind of it. The one other aside that was kind of cool in the nominee presentation was putting voices to people. Some people went on camera, some didn't, which is fine. But just hearing people, and I don't know, again, I guess it's the part where we are social beings, and so the ultimate is meet somebody in real life and talk to them and body expressions and all that stuff. And at the other extreme is just text on a screen, and then maybe in the middle there's voice communication, things like that. So anyways, it was kind of cool to hear voices and, hey, it's a real person. I don't know. Again, just, I guess, more connection, I guess, just because we are social beings. So anyways, and then on my journey, I admit I didn't do anything related to Star Atlas this week. I was trying to write this down. I was like, nope, I didn't do anything. I do have I think I may have mentioned the last one, but I do have all my ships back in Faction Fleet, and so every day I go in and restock them, and then on the weekend claim my Atlas. So, it's what I've been doing for literally years, so maybe that's why that didn't register. But I am working on a couple new parts to my Star Atlas guide that's on my website, intergalactichero.com, and one of them is fully out now, which is a guide basically with the premise, if you wanted to spend $100 to get started and $20 a month ongoing, what could you do? And so it really starts not exactly from the beginning, but again, you can go to the beginning part of the guide to really get at the beginning. So it assumes you know how to get currency, real money, into crypto, and then it goes through swapping tokens and purchasing ships and a claim stake and staking both of those to earn different things. And then it kind of branches out to once you have these assets, whatever. Yeah. So ships and claim stakes and resources, what can you do next? And then it branches off to show all the different aspects that I will admit it's a beginner guide, so it doesn't go into depth into anything, but that's, again, not its point. It's to really help somebody and answer that question. Hey, I want to get involved. Where do I start? So again, it's not meant to be the all-inclusive, every little thing mentioned. I also don't get into strategy other than picking those dollar amounts, but again, it was just a number, and I kind of say this in my caveats. But anyway, so it's out there, so if you want to check it out, again, intergalactichero.com, go to the guides. The individual pages are broken up. They link to YouTube videos, so it's visual. There's transcripts. There's links to other things. So I tried to make it as, fully step-by-step as possible. And then I'm just starting to roll out. I got all the behind-the-scenes editing, but to kind of let YouTube work its magic and push out videos once a day, I am working on a second one, which is a beginner's guide to getting started in Star-based. So probably I'll talk more about that next podcast once that one's fully out. But they're publishing once a day. So anyway, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for listening. Again, if you want to be on the podcast as a guest, definitely looking forward to it. So again, we could talk about the week in review. If you're a content creator or someone else, we can promote or Starhouse Builder. Love to promote your thing. Obviously, love to talk to any Starhouse team members. Definitely would like to keep the theme of the last one I did, which is sort of some beginning information about Star Atlas. So won't hold anybody to all the current stuff, but more of, you're learning about the project. And if you want to talk about your specific area at Star Atlas, I'd love to have do an interview. And then again, my two Star Atlas projects, my merch store at intergalacticgear.com. Again, if you're interested in some Star Atlas mugs, they're there. But you can also fill out my merch survey and get on my mailing list for future announcements. And then if you're interested in joining a Star Atlas community that isn't a guild, though I guess guild members are welcome to also attend, but it's a way to have a place if you don't want to get into the guild system, or you're not really interested in the Star Atlas Discord, you're looking for conversations and come and go and keep up to date on things, please go to intergalacticcoalition.com, fill out that interest survey, and once we get enough people, we can definitely start building that community out. So thank you again for listening. Hope you have had a great week. Hope you have a great week ahead. This is Matt with the Intergalactic Herald.